Factors of climate. There are 7 factors of climate: latitude, air masses, ocean currents, clouds, elevation, water, and mountain barriers. The first factor of climate is latitude. Latitude is how far a place is from the equator. The farther the place is from the equator, the colder it will be. So somewhere like Brazil would be much warmer than somewhere like the North Pole. Another factor of climate is air masses, because air masses could either be warmer or colder than the place that they travel to. So if a cold air mass travels into a warmer area, then the temperature of that place will drop. Next factor of climate is mountain barriers. Mountain barriers affect climate because mountains are so big that they block wind precipitation on one side of the mountain, leaving that side much more cooler and moist than the other side that will end up becoming dry and warm. Next up is elevation. The reason elevation affects climate is because the higher up you are, the less air there is. Less air means less pressure, and the air that is at a higher altitude is much thinner, making it harder to breathe and the temperature much colder. This is why most of the time there's going to be snow on top of mountains, and why it's so hard to climb Mount Everest. Next is ocean currents. Ocean currents move water from place to place, and depending where that water is from, it will either be warm or cold. Air above the water will also be affected, which will then affect the temperature of the land by the water, because if the water is from the equator, currents all the way up to one of the poles, the warm air is going to affect the north climate, and vice versa. The next factor is clouds. Like I said before, the higher up you are, the less air there is, and the less pressure there is. This will affect how thick and thin a cloud is. So clouds at a higher up altitude are going to be thinner, which means more sun's rays can travel through it, but the cloud will also trap more heat. Lower clouds are going to be thicker, which reflect more sun's rays, but will also trap in less heat. Seventh and final factor is water. Water affects climates because water bodies heat and cool much slower than land does. Because of this, during the summertime when it's warmer, by the time the water is heated up, it's probably going to be around winter time for the land. And water affects the air above it, which will then affect the temperature of the land. This explains why Newfoundland is colder, because it is a smaller island surrounded by a huge body of water. Notice how latitude, air masses, mountain barriers, elevation, clouds, ocean currents, and water affect climate. So this is the end of my 7 factors of climate video.